actually lifted my mood. And I'm sure you actually have your mood lifted this morning because the night was kind of beautiful from my end. Yeah, and I'm sure it seems too from your end. So this morning we'll be having the median edition of Chat with T and C this morning, and I'm sure you are in for a nice time. I am Charity Odu, and with me this morning is my colleague
Oluwatomilola Lawal. But Charity, your face is actually. What's it now? What's happening? What's happening to your voice now? You're glowing, but girl, you know your face is actually glowing this morning. Tell me the secret. What's going on? Was it due to the night rest?
It's filter.
Filter? Are you
Yes,
sure it's filter?
Snapchat filter.
Snapchat filter. I don't say anything. Don't worry. Let's not go further.
Alright, that's the voice of my colleague Oluwatomilola Lawal. Yes, and please, anytime you are pronouncing her name, make sure you are articulating it properly, like Lawal. Don't phonetize it, please. Yes, that's the way she wants her name to be pronounced. Okay, so I introduced the program earlier as Chat with T and C, and I assure you that you'll be having a really nice time this morning. And this is a program where we get to bring to you trending issues on social media, in the news, and all of that, just to keep you abreast of what is actually happening in our society, as well as, it is important for you to know what is happening around you.
Exactly.
Anyways, before we actually dive into what we have today, we'll be going on a short break, and by the time we are back, be sure that we'll feed you all the gist and all the news we have for you this morning. We'll be right back. Break, I assured you that by the time you are back, we'll be feeding you with all the gist and all the all the new and all the trending issues in our society, as well as in the social media this morning. And I introduced myself earlier as Charity Odu, and I have my colleague with me, Oluwatomilola Lawal. Alright, to talk about the trends this morning, we'll be starting from the Space S. Yes, that is the social media X, which was formerly known as Twitter. And there's this particular news that is actually trending, Oluwatomilola.
I'm actually glad that you're now getting used to this X of it, because usually I know you call it Twitter. But
calm down, you was casting me.
No, I just need to pass your time because you really need it. But truth be told, there was a time I actually mistakenly called it Twitter, and then the person was like, "Girl, it is now X." I said, what's X?
This has changed now.
She said, it is now X. I said,
the fact is we've been so used to this the name Twitter, for a while.
But Twitter is actually more fun than this X.
No, I'm tweeting.
As a media person, sometimes I forget saying X. So.
Alright, that's it. And I was saying earlier that something is actually trending on the Space X this morning, and that is bullying. Checking the news this morning, I saw the fact that bullying is, trending. I was actually very curious, as in, why would bullying be trending or what's going on? And it's a known fact that, bullying is a kind of, should I say an activity or probably a kind of event that actually affects one physically, psychologically, emotionally, and all of that. People who have been victims of bullying for, over the years, they understand what it means to be bullied, especially when they are in a situation where they cannot speak up, or probably they do not have someone to confide in, or not even having someone to confide in, probably having someone that, okay, you can actually tell that, okay, this is what I'm going through, and they don't believe you. Do you know that it is actually possible for you to tell your parents, let's even say parents, for a child to reach out to the parent that, oh, okay, I'm being bullied, this is what's going on in school, and all of that, and the parent is not taking action? So why do you think that kind of negligence is actually occurring in the parents, or let me say guardians as well?
Well, from my own point of view, I feel this thing can actually be segmented in two different parts. Let's talk about the angle of the school.
Okay.
A student telling you I was bullied, this and that. I think most schools always try to protect the reputation.
Yeah, try to protect the reputation of the school.
They don't want people to start seeing them, especially when you have all these top schools. They don't want to bring down their school at any charges at all. So they will try to promote or try to protect the image of the school in a situation whereby you just lower the truth. Some people actually know the truth.
Of course.
But because they don't want people to start saying negative things about the schools.
They
They
just
don't
try
want to
and cover
expose the
up and all
truth.
of
They
that.
try to cover
But
up.
you know
And
that
it's not helping.
this particular bullying and all of that is not only limited to secondary schools.
Of course.
Yes, do you know
It's
that?
not limited.
And the case of public schools trying to protect their reputation is also not limited to secondary school. We see higher institutions,
Exactly.
and that is why most of higher institutions make use of BPRO, like PRO and all of that. So when there's any issues like this, it is the PRO of the school that will probably try and speak to the press and all of that.
But do you think it is actually helping? Because to me, I don't think this thing is actually eradicating it. It is not limited to only having a PRO. But let me come from the angle of being a parent. You know, we have some parents whereby their kids get home and tell them, "Mommy, Daddy, this happened in school," and then they tell their kids, "Oh no, I'm busy. Oh no, I'm busy.
they just
Oh, no,
they
I'm
just shut
busy."
the
They
child
just shut
down.
the child up, and things like this can actually make the child be traumatized in future because being so used to being bullying, and then you don't know how to tell your parents when you get home. You just tend to keep it to yourself. But I feel as parents, we should be able to know when our children
Of
are not
course, yeah.
in the right position.
You know, a child who used to be so cheerful and all of
Exactly,
that.
and
So
suddenly
imagine
the child
this.
gets old and start behaving somehow, because
Locking-
most
yeah,
of these
yeah.
kids, they actually lock themselves up, and then they don't want to interact with people because they are scared. Like, I don't know, being a parent, you should be able to notice that there is something wrong with this kid. But I feel most parents are always hiding under the disguise of, I am busy, I want to make money. What's the sense of you making money when you are not making yourself available for the right things? So
Do you know
I don't
that
think it's actually helping.
about this particular issue? We see a lot of comments that says that, oh, okay, maybe this is only rampant in boarding school, maybe this and all of that. And I did not actually attend a boarding school. I attended a day school. And okay, now let me ask you: did you attend boarding school while you were in secondary school?
Oh yeah, I did attend a boarding school.
Was there a case
And-
of bullying or something you could actually?
Of course, there was. Of course, because I remember back then when my senior colleagues then they tend to spend the offering money and the tithes, and then they come back to the hostel and I'm serious. Like, it's so funny and so annoying at the same time.
Okay.
And then I think they used to buy this guguru and the popcorn stuff like that. So and then when they come back, they then tell us, "Oh no, we stole the money. We did this, we did that." They have to punish us, bullying us, and when you eventually even tell your parents when you get home, we are still coming next time now. When your parents come to school and come and fight teachers or the senior colleagues, when your parents leave, you'll be left with the senior now. There's nothing you can do.
As much
about
as
it.
I understand that schools are trying to protect their reputation and all of that, but it is only saying that schools take actions when a case of bullying is being reported, or probably any maltreatment either from senior colleagues or from teachers or from lecturers and all of that. It is only important that parents take the necessary steps, and schools
the things that I
should
know
ensure they take the necessary
can
steps
actually
too.
help out now is, I think most of them should be arrested, irrespective of being a secondary school or primary, because for you to bully someone, then you know what is right and you know what is not right. You have the energy to bully someone. And I feel they should be arrested, because if such situation keep occurring and then you arrest those victims, those perpetrators, there is likely that these things will reduce, because even you having a PRO or the government interfering, I don't think it is actually solving anything. They should be arrested. If they are arrested for like 2 months, I'm sure when they get back, I'm serious, I'm sure when they get back,
Advocate Oluwatomilola.
Like, it's so
Actually, that is actually the truth. It is actually not advisable for schools to cover up stuff, or for parents to actually waive situations like that. It is actually not good enough. Anyways, that is actually it on bullying that was actually trending on the experts this morning. Before we actually move to the next thing on the agenda this morning, at least, because there are a lot of things that are actually trending on social media this morning, as well as the news. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, just stick with us. welcome back from that particular short break here, and thank you for still sticking with us to still chat with T and C this morning on OECS online radio and television. Yes, it's a pleasure to actually know that you're still with us. And before we actually went on that particular short break, we were talking about one of the trending issues on X this morning, and that is the issue of a lady that has been actually being bullied. It's actually a secondary school girl being bullied in school and all of that. Okay, so having discussed that, we actually iterated the fact that schools as well as parents should actually take up cases of bullying. Alright, on to the next this morning. ASU is trending. ASU is actually trending. And why ASU is actually trending on the space is because the federal government actually said that the minimum age that any child will actually get admitted into secondary school, into higher institution, is now 18 years old. They are simply saying that if you are not 18, you won't be accepted into the tertiary institution. And the news goes thus: ASU President Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke has backed federal government's move to consider 18 years as the entry age for admission into universities and other tertiary institutions of learning. Professor Oshodeke described the proposition by the federal government as a welcome development. He also stated that we are in full support as it is the right thing to do. Okay, so Oluwatomilola, do you think it is actually a welcome development? Because I think the federal government is trying to come in from the angle of probably children not being mentally developed before going into tertiary institution, and we actually understand that the tertiary institution is a very wild place. That if care is not taken, you can either be made or be mad. Like it is a 50-50 thing. So do we say that this particular development by the federal government and this proposition by the federal government as well as the backing of ASU on this particular issue, do we say it's a welcome development or should it be reconsidered?
Alright, thank you, Charity. Well, seeing this from my own side, I think it should actually be reviewed again. Because we cannot all agree that because a child is not up to 18 years before gaining admission into the university, probably the child can be mad or anything. No. I've seen cases of children who gain admission at the age of 15 years and they're actually doing better than people that even gain admission at the age of 25 upward. It is not about the age. Age, like we say,
it's just a number.
It is just a number.
Okay.
Your exposure and experience matters. And we have a lot of kids that have been exposed and they have a lot of experience at that tender age. We have children at the age of 15, 16 doing better in the universities, graduating with first class, graduating in second class, uppers. I don't think the age really matters. Though to some people, they feel when you are not up to 18 years old, you are not matured. I think it's because of the mentality that we have in this our country. Yes.
Do we say it is because of the mentality? Because I've heard of cases of kids who actually got admission at a very tender age, let's say at the age of 14, 15 and all of that, and we see that they are not able to handle pressure, they are not able to handle disappointment. Like there was a case of a young lady who actually committed suicide just because her semester result was not okay. Like as much as we would not want to probably blame that on the age, but I think age is still a contributing factor actually. So in that particular case now, do we say it is okay? Let me rephrase. Coming from the angle of this example I cited about someone who actually committed suicide at a tender age and all of that, do we say that age was not a contributing factor to it, or age happens to be a contributing factor to that particular incident?
All right, thank you. Well, I really cannot say age is a contributing factor because the way each and every one of us can handle pressure differs a lot. Okay, let me cite this example. Let's say someone of 30 years who has given birth, being scolded, and then she burst into tears.
That was FD.
Do you want to tell me at that age things that I shouldn't have occurred. I believe how we can all handle pressure differs.
Okay, so it is
The
not.
way I
It is
handle
not.
pressure
It is not an age
is
thing.
exactly the way I handle pressure is different from the way you handle pressure. And I've seen cases of people that are 20 years upward and still commit suicide. Okay, let's take for example people that are actually in debt and commit suicide. Are they not old enough?
Okay,
They are old
you do
enough.
have a point.
They are old enough. So I don't think age is a factor for people committing suicide, or age is actually a factor that can deter you from achieving anything. Like, it is not really a factor. I think it's just about the mentality that we are trying to picture in our head in this country, because to me, being 15 or being below 18 does not mean you cannot gain admission. Although we know in the olden days we use
we used to do the measurement like this.
I was not in this one then. Then they tend to say they use this measurement when your hand is not.
It's not
as
touching
long as
probably
even
your
me
ears
now,
or so.
you know, say now that time I never go still enter university now
Why?
because naturally
Sure.
my hand never reached this place. That's this now. So I don't think it is actually a factor though. I think the federal government needs to review this. They need to review it actually.
Okay. Anyways, I think I'm a bit torn in between. As much as I would say that okay, it should be reviewed at least to an extent, so as not to limit people as to what they can achieve.
Exactly.
Yeah, educational wise, and considering other areas of life too, just because they are of certain age they cannot attain some things and all of that. I think it will actually limit some people's ambition. There are some people that they say they are with the ambition that before the age of 35 they want to have gotten their PhD and all of that. So, but if we are putting a kind of age limit to it, definitely they might not want to further that this and
you're now telling me someone that graduated from secondary school at the age of 15 years old, and then you're asking the person not to write exam until 18 years old. 18. The person is staying at home for a good 3 years. Like things that I think things that can actually bring about a lot.
Anyways, what I would actually say is that parents should ensure that as much as you are training your child physically, try and build the child, mentally as well as emotionally as well. When you instill the right teaching, the right discipline, and you teach them on how to handle external pressures as well as pressures from within, I think it would go a long way. So our federal government and ASU, I think there's a need for that to be reviewed, considering other factors that are actually attached to it. And that is it on ASU that is actually trending this morning. Oluwatomilola, is there any other thing trending from your end?
Of course, there is something trending from this, and it is so touching.
Okay.
It is amidst this hike in prices of everything. We don't this hike in prices of food stuff already.
Okay,
That we are. I'm not saying
sure,
we are partially. We are. Let's say we are partially coping because we don't have a choice. We all have a choice.
You know that Nigerians tend to have this coping mechanism. Like we just tend to laugh over everything.
We too dey cope.
And before you know
it,
people tend to forget their problems.
Now 150k today. Tell me, some people go
We
carry like 5
still
bags
make
for us.
jokes out of it.
So actually, this one is actually coming from the aspect of this drug. Yes, this one says.
Okay.
Drug price hike, life expectancy reduction imminent in Nigeria. Amidst this hike in price of food stuff and everything,
even drugs now expensive.
Now drugs are now expensive. Imagine antibiotics that we buy for a certain amount.
Okay.
Before for malaria, we say malaria don't catch you. Your mom.
And you know that malaria is a Nigerian thing. Like.
It is a common fever that everybody has. If you have a headache,
malaria.
You need to get
If you have a little bit of injury on your lip, everybody says,
this is malaria.
Now
tell me, a malaria drug that you buy for about, let's say 1,000 naira before that is so affordable. Now they are selling it for the rate of 3,000 naira. People that can't even afford to eat will now start looking for money to get drugs. Like, how do you see it? How do you see it from that particular angle?
From my own angle, I would say it's really saddening. Going by the fact that people are actually looking for money to eat, because food is definitely one of the basics. Like, without food, you cannot survive. This morning now, if I have actually not eaten, to talk this way, I will, So now imagine that.
I see you're doing because you've eaten. Food is like.
So now imagine that the money you are supposed to actually spend on foodstuffs and all of that, you're now spending it on drugs. Like, and it is not as if, our healthcare is free. It is not free. Even in government hospitals, you still tend to pay. Like I've been to government hospitals that ordinary tests like this, I know the amount you will pay. For this one, I know the amount you will pay, and all of that. So our health care is not even free. And to an extent, maybe it is not even affordable. Yeah.
Imagine buying inhaler for like 36,500.
You hear of people that want to go through some major surgeries and the amount you hear can come million and all of that, and you're like, how? It is in Nigeria. So now imagine that, there are some people who tend to resort into self-medication rather than going to the hospital because they feel that the hospital is way more expensive than they just getting drugs from a pharmacy, from a chemist. Let me use the word chemist. So now imagine that, okay, as much as self-medication is not something that is advisable, if you are sick, it is only advisable that you go to the hospital to get medications and all of that. So now imagine that, okay, people who are actually not able to afford the hospital bills and all of that, they go to a chemist store to say, okay, I have malaria, please, I need antibiotics and all of that. And at the end of the day, your bill is around 7K. You're like, kilo shele. My mom used to actually get a particular drug, the total package, maybe around 7K or so. The last time she wanted to get the drugs it was over 15,000.
Oh my god.
Yes, it was over 15,000. And she was like, why? I used to get blood tonic. There's a particular brand of blood tonic as well as one brand of cod liver oil. Initially, I used to get at the rate of maybe 1,000 for 2 packs and all of that. The last time I wanted to get it was 2,300.
You're even talking about tonic. I said I wanted to buy paracetamol. I didn't know paracetamol was so expensive. Now the person was telling me 300 naira, and then I said paracetamol is now 300 naira.
To make matter worse,
that we buy for like 17 naira, 100.
To make matter worse is that they don't even cut again. You might even say, okay, I want to get paracetamol, probably half of the sachets.
Because it's not going to pay them.
Yes.
Well, actually, I don't think those people are to be blamed.
Of course, it's not their fault.
It is due to the amount they are actually buying these things. Because when you think about it, the transportations and everything is not making things encouraging. So there is no how they will sell these things that it will actually be beneficiary to them. Okay, imagine buying something of 1,000 naira. At least if you want to resell, you want to get gaining of at least 100 naira on each item. Now tell me, buying something of 1,000 naira, do you want to sell it for 1,010 naira? You want to have your gain in percent over drug shots. That's the case. Okay, now talking about this self-medication, why do you think people actually practice self-medication?
I think one of the reasons is what I've actually highlighted earlier, that okay, probably considering the cost of hospital bills and all of that, for example, someone who has I don't know which, let me just say an ailment, and the first thing required of the person is to probably go and take an X-ray, then go to the lab to get the blood tested, then before the main treatment and all of that, all these processes cost money. So I think that is one of the reasons why people are actually engaging in self-medication. So as much as self-medication is not okay, one of the ways to actually eradicate it is for governments to make sure that our healthcare is at least free. That is one of the things. Okay, now this popular TV host Rufai Hussein mentioned something. He said if a government is constructing roads, it should not be applauded. Why it should not be applauded is because it is his duty to do that. You don't applaud someone for what he's supposed to actually do. Like you get. So healthcare is something that is actually very important, and I think it is something that should be put into consideration to actually probably make life a little bit more easier for people. So that is just one of the reasons. I think it is majorly the bills really. Who wouldn't want to be treated properly? Everyone wants to be treated properly, actually.
Yes, that's it. I think we really need to do better as Nigerians. Yes, if things were that easy, I think people would not be practicing this self-medication. If hospitals were easily accessible, people would gladly want to go to the hospital because when I get to the hospital,
yes,
at least things will be less.
Treatment.
I'll get a proper treatment. But I think people are actually running away due to the hike and everything. Someone like me, yes. There are times I need to go to the hospital, but when I think about the price, I'll be like, God, how am I going to sort out this money? Well, let me just get to the chemist and just buy malaria drug. Even getting to the chemist and buying malaria drug now is no longer affordable. So now, what do we do? As Nigerians, we really need to do better. And I think our governments need to rise up and help us in Nigeria.
All right, yeah, it's been moments of talks and moments of talk and all of that. Anyways, it's an honor and a privilege having you on the show this morning, and I'm sure that you've enjoyed every bit of the program this morning. I would actually say that you should keep watching out because TNC will always eat your screen, and it is a wonderful moment this morning with Charity, myself, and my colleague.
Oluwatomilola Lawa. It's nice having people around. Catch more of us.
Yeah, so we'll come your way next time on Chat with TNC. Do have a great day ahead.